Welcome, everybody. This is episode 33 of StripJourney. And usually I'm focused more on saying how we see growth and stuff is happening in Europe, but there is also growth happening in other areas. And particularly, there is one area that I'm always keeping my eye on, and that is South America. And today I'm very happy to have with me Flor from Argentina joining me. Hi, Flor.
Hi, how are you all? Great to be here.
Great. Nice to see you. Can you introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, of course. I am 22. I've been learning frame up for like 2 years now. I first had some classes in Argentina with a teacher called Liliana, that she's from Argentina and she's from it. Then I had a trip to Moscow, to Russia to learn it, just right from the source. Ever since I came back from Russia, I started teaching too in Argentina. Yeah. Oh, I also organized the frame up page in Argentina. I like to think of it as a community page, not only mine, but well, I organize it.
Nice. Yeah, but let's go from the start. How did you even get into like dancing, frame up? Did you dance as a child or what's your background?
Oh no. Okay, well, so I started pole dancing actually when I was 14 years old, but I had none benefits at all. Like everything was hard for me when I started. It's not like I started since I was a toddler and I had many facilities. But well, I did start at 14, which is quite young still. And then I started exotic pole dance at 15. I started competing at 18. Every time I competed, I won something. I became a teacher in pole dancing, but I was always so curious and intrigued by frame up. Also, when I was doing pole dance choreographies and exotic pole dance choreographies, I was very drawn to musicality. So my way of composing was always around the music and the sounds, which is a frame up base. So yeah, I always leaned towards those types of compositions. And then I had the money and the time and the energy for going to learn properly in Moscow, and I said, okay, I'm going. But yeah, besides that, I studied dance in arts university, half of the career. I didn't finish it. It was quite fun. My my specialty was on body expression. The career was dance composition, but it had many different orientations, and mine was more focused on freestyle and composition rather than hard technique or drama or whatever. Because the other orientations were dance, like strictly dance, or theater dance, or musical comedy. Yeah.
And I remember when I talked to Lily, right? That was a year and a half ago. And I asked her, like, okay, can you recommend me somebody else? Who else does frame up in Argentina? Who should I like follow? Who should I talk to? And then she's like, oh, there is this girl. You should follow her. And she sent me a link. And then I followed her. And pretty soon after, you joined some competition with a frame up piece or frame up inspired piece.
No, that was just a showcase. So I was working in a studio at that moment. And right after I arrived from Russia, they did like an annual showcase to show like the teachers and the students or whatever. And I just had a piece there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was so cool because I'm like, this is so different from kind of what we've seen in frame up and stuff and all that. Again, hearing more about your background, it's also really curious. So you said you went to Russia. How did it go?
Oh, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. On a personal area, it was hard for me to create connections because of the language barrier, because I don't speak Russian, and most of people in Russia don't speak English either. But on the dancing area, it was great. I feel so blessed. I learned a lot. Not only I went to the official frame up big festivals, but I also had individual and group classes with literally everyone I could. I learned so much, so much.
You have a favorite like event or class you did?
Mm. Yes, I gotta say, in terms of practicity and pedagogy, Marie Smirnova gave me the best class. It was a group class. I think she was just the best at teaching, like the way she schemed the class. I don't speak Russian, so I kind of struggled with many classes because I'm very dependent on words and vocabulary to learn. I'm not so picture copying learner. And her classes were just amazing. That was my favorite classes. What is Mirloas? Yeah.
And then you came back and you said you started teaching. How did that go? Were people interested?
Yes. Yes. Actually, a lot of people. The dance salon was packed. Um, I was teaching pole dance before going to Russia, blah, 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 but I never get to do like a big workshop on it or have like a big full class. But with Frame Up, like it was full and people were really interested and they actually gave theoretical classes, only theoretical classes too, which is something I never had done in pole dance before. I think that was a big jump in my career too. And then it just made sense to make like a proper frame up page for them because it's something that I mean people were attending to and still are. And I really hope that page can still grow and more people get to teach too and more reference, not only in Buenos Aires, that is the main city in Argentina, but in different provinces, in different countries, fellow countries. Yeah, I just would love to see it develop more and more.
Tell me about your event that you organized this year.
The one I organized in January. It's the first time I organize an event where other people teach. It's very different than organizing a small event 4 hours where only you teach, right? Where only I teach. I was very nervous. Also, I was the first class and my mind was everywhere because I was also the organizer. And I was very nervous for teaching the class. I had to take care of a lot of things, which makes sense because I'm the organizer. And since it was the first edition, like I didn't hire anyone to help me with it. So yeah, it was quite a challenge. I learned a lot. Hopefully next edition will be better. I don't know when next edition will be, but next time it's gonna be, it will be big. I would like to bring someone from abroad. Like, yeah, I want to make something good.
So you said it will be big. How big was it now? How many people do you have?
We were like 25, as it happens in almost all the frame up events. As the venue, as the event goes in and it gets later, some people leave because they're tired. But the people that started were like 20, 25. Yeah, and people from other countries traveled here too, from Chile, well, from other provinces too. So yeah, I felt very honored, very honored.
And you were what? You were three teachers, four teachers?
With me, four. We were,
Yeah.
well, me, Mika Oviedo, Lily Claudine, and Cotin.
Nice. So you had a bit of everything, also different styles and stuff.
Yes, yes. I'm getting hyped right now in this conversation. It's like when I go to Argentina now and organize one for tomorrow.
And it was a success, I guess, the event, because I know when you said, oh, I'll try, but I don't know, da, 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 but it seems it was a success.
And I organized it just like with a month and a half of anticipation.
Mm.
And I was even in another country when I started launching it and organizing it. I don't think it was bad, but I think it's possible to do even better, you know? Like to
Mm.
bring someone from abroad, like someone from Russia or any other country, and like organize it with more months of anticipation so people can pay it and make something even bigger. A competition. There's still no competitions in Argentina, no frame up competitions. Also, people need some time to grow, so that's okay. But I think that next event if it's organized by me, it's gonna come with a competition too, because it's time. It's time. Competitions polish people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And this is what's been happening here in Europe as well. You joined, not this one, but the one before, like last fall, you joined the Frame Up Strip convention in Prague as well. How do you compare? How does that look?
Oh my god, it was amazing. No, what you have in Prague, in Czech Republic, it's so admirable. It's so big. I don't know if you are aware of how big it is. That's not common in other countries. Like I know that. So what we have? Like we have the ones in Russia, right? I assume there must be frame up events in Ukraine too. Then we have Czech Republic, we have UK, we have
Mm.
Argentina, and which other countries we have? Like having like
Poland?
Poland, Poland,
Poland is
Poland,
also
Poland.
quite big. Yeah.
But the thing going on in Czech Republic, it's not going on in any of the other countries. I mean,
Mm.
the exception of Russia. Of course, that's huge there. But it's big. It's big and it's so honorable. And it must be so rewarding to organize and be part of that. And I'm happy I could attend, and it's so inspiring. I really hope Frame Up can grow up like that in other countries too. In mine, I hope so.
Mm. So what do you think on the level that you've seen in Prague and back home in Argentina?
Well, it's different. It's different. In Argentina, it's still developing. The people that are doing Frame Up, not all of them had like classes with Russian people, like direct from the source too. Some of them, like they have big experience in other dance fields and they're great at them, but it's more like self-taught on Frame Up. The code, the dance code we're having is more similar to floor work, exotic floor work
Mm.
in many reference, but that's okay because that's like the most similar dance style we have in Argentina. Um, I don't know where, like to which side it will end up growing because we're a whole different continent. Um, as the years go by, maybe our search, like Argentinian and South American search, will go in other directions, different as European and Western European and Slavic searches,
Mm.
because you know culture is different and art tendencies are different, not only in dance, like in other art styles, we have different art tendencies. Um, and I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm very curious to just see all of that. And I hope we're all very diverse too.
That's a really good point you bring up because I think for us, it's also like, again, a lot of influence. We have access to the teachers that come from Russia and Ukraine and everything, and also the culture that also follows like the way you should train, the way you should do your choreo and do your things that fit there. And obviously, it's very different from you also. When I remember Lily, who is more into the kind of the art and the expression and the message of the things, and then you that go into more of the sexy style and everything. I think it's also very, very different. And this is why, again, when I saw your first choreo, I was like, this is refreshing because it's different, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I take your words with a lot of warmth at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Also, like now I get a little bit of philosophical. I don't want to be boring, but you know, in different countries, bodies are perceived in different ways.
Mm.
And the way we experience with our bodies are perceived in different ways, especially like in whole different parts of the world. Like the way people in Tokyo, Asia, the way people experience body there is different. The way people experience body in South America is different. The way people experience their bodies in Russia, in Slavic countries, and that, of course, affects dance.
You are right, because also the idea of what is sexy and what is the acceptable way of sexy or how a dancer should look like is very dictated by culture as well.
Yeah,
Let's go into a little bit about your style and stuff. You went to Russia to learn and stuff, and then you did your choreo, and then you did the workshop and everything. So, how do you go around making your own choreos? What are your kind of starting points when you teach people? What do you think about?
It's very hard to speak about oneself, you know. Um, well, for composition, like for composing, I first choose the song. Like I usually incubate the song in my mind, in my headphones, for several weeks and days before choosing it. So I incubate a lot before getting my body involved in time and space. But when I do so, I do everything again and again and again and again. I'm not the type of dancer where you make choreographies just going with the flow and what feels natural. I try to go against what it feels natural. I try to retry again. And maybe I like a lot something I just done, but I'm gonna still try to do something else to see if it's even better. I'm quite exigent with myself. Um, but also when I like something, I recognize it. But I do everything again and again and again. And usually I spend like 2, 3 weeks making a choreography, like a 1, 2 minute choreography. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Maybe I go to the studio like every 2 days, like one day yes, one day not. I never stay longer than 2 hours. Never.
Then,
Oh,
how
no.
do you give it to the students?
Well, to be honest, I don't give regular classes. I only teach at workshops. I don't even know if I'm self aware enough to answer this, but I usually like break it in pieces, maybe just as everyone does when teaching. And I try to explain, but I also make them repeat a lot of times, like ha again, ha again, ha again, and they have to keep it up like that. And sometimes, like they hate me, but yeah, like that thing, we can do it 10 times until they have it, and then we go with the other piece and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, again, let's go back to the cultural differences because for me, when I got into frame up compared to other like dances and dance classes, this thing that you do something over and over, that you drill this 5 seconds over and over until it's perfect, was new because normally you go to class, you just get fed choreo, and then you're like, go and okay, we move on, we learn more. But here it's like over and over and over. And for me, that was a difference. So I also wonder how it was when you do this in Argentina. Is this a difference?
I think that I'm very loving and kind. I'm very like tiki 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 tiki, but I'm also very loving and kind. So I think it's just reciprocate. And like I acknowledge when they are tired and I let them know that I know they're tired, but it's just a little bit more. And then we go and then I'm going to explain a little bit more so they can rest what I explain and blah, blah, blah. Um, but yeah, there's something about frame up about like the precision and the detail. Um, it's not just shapes, like basic shapes you see in a regular dance class, but it's like you have a basic shape and then you start breaking details, and that's the shape of that momentum of the choreography. So yeah, you gotta like pay a lot of attention to detail. That's why you gotta repeat too.
What would you tell to people who are interested in trying frame up or starting frame up?
To do a lot, to not compare themselves to their bodies to the teacher, because the teacher crafted that choreography so her or his body just merges better with the shapes, and to not compare how your body, and I'm not speaking about body types but about body in dance, to not compare about how it looks to other people, to focus on yourself, to of course have an eye on what you think it's wrong or you don't like, but also to have an eye on what you like, because in the future having an eye on what you like is what's going to make you craft your own things with your own criteria, to freestyle a lot, to record what you freestyle, even if you don't like watching it, to try to watch it. um to not judge yourself, and to train a lot, and to think bigger on your own self, to have your own training spaces besides the ones where you're a student. Even if you consider yourself beginner, you can make a lot with being a beginner, you know? We have a pending topic.
My interest also comes from the fact that you come from the pole dance scene, right? And pole dance, as we know, originated from strippers and from strip clubs and everything. And for me, for frame up, like always when I try to talk to people who were there at the start from Agni and similar, and I asked them, how did the strip shoes come in, right? Basically, the simple explanation was they saw this from pole dancers. How do you experience that? And have you had any kind of comments based on that?
Yo, I wish I could speak Russian so I could understand what people say about all these topics. But yeah, in my opinion, I mean, I don't think frame up itself comes from strippers, but it has roots on pole dancing, on floor work of pole dancing, and on the shoes. And pole dancing has roots on strippers, so we could say that is like the ancestors of frame up are also strippers. You know, like you have your grandmother, then you have your mother, then you have the daughter, right? That's what I think about origins. Also, I know stripping is a thing in Russia, because I know stripping is not a thing in all the countries. There are a lot of countries where it's illegal, or maybe it is legal, but it's not popular and it's not common. Oh, I didn't say this, but I'm a stripper. I worked in different countries and continents, and I don't know what is the internal conversation in Russia, like the discourses between strippers, stripper dancers, and professional dancers. So I'm just not aware of the lore. But yeah, of course, that frame up doesn't come strictly from stripping, but it does come on second hand from stripping. Even non dancers are using the stripper shoes, even the singers are using the stripper shoes. I think it's time the world starts accepting more sex work, not only stripping, but also sex work in general.
I did pole dance a long time ago, and I know when we started using shoes in like 2011 or something, that was also a little bit like, ooh, like we are now crazy. We are using stripper shoes. I mean, times have changed, and I think there is a lot more acceptance. But what I kind of, and frame up should be also as a style, like also inherently sexy and things. Is there like, you should be sexy one way, but not another way as well? Sometimes when there are classes and then there is some sexy parts, and there is like, no, don't do this, don't touch yourself here, but do it like this because it needs to be nice and pretty and elegant and stuff. So, and then we also talked about the bodies and stuff and all, and there is obviously certain type of body that's preferred in commercial frame up dancers, right? You do not see many girls who look different.
That's
And
actually
maybe that will come as well. But again, I just need somebody to also talk with me about this stuff as well, because I think it's very important. Representation to me is super important, right? And when I started off to make the podcast, for me it wasn't to bring just the best dancers or the most famous teachers and stuff. For me, it's to bring everybody and to give everybody a platform to be represented, whether you are a world class competitor dancer or you're somebody who's trying to push the style in your country and you're still learning, or you need to see yourself and you do dance for whatever reason that you do it.
yes, 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 yes. The different bodies, that, and also how sexy is acceptable in some ways and some others not. I also think that in the way I perceive it, at least, frame up is about aesthetic proposal. It can go in different ways depending on whoever created the choreography and is teaching it, right? But it's about an aesthetic proposal. Like, I think there's more imagery. It's like maybe the only dance style I saw where there are a lot of images, like done with your body. Like suddenly you have like a whole picture, like a pose, and a very particular pose that gives you like almost a poetical impression, and then you go to another pose, and blah blah blah. Like I think that frame up has a lot of poses. And I'm not speaking about yes pose, like real, like maybe something, maybe even like a weird poses in a good way. I mean it, and maybe someone's proposal is to be sexy but not vulgar. But also, I see some dancers go to explicit things. For
Mm.
instance, roses have done many explicit things, but also roses have perfect body, perfect face, perfect technique. So maybe they can't afford themselves to be vulgar, right? But it would be very different if someone with not the expected body or technique was behaving in a vulgar way. And yeah, I think that's a whole topic.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because I think before Roses we did not see that. I think that was like before that frame up was pretty, even for a sexy style was pretty clean. But yeah, but then Roses came and there was this idea of a duo that actually kind of enacts stuff
Oh my
to
god,
or on each other. That
I
kind of
love
changed things.
roses. They're my favorites. I'm a huge fan. Like I would like clean their house. I swear. Like I'm not saying anything wrong about them. But I actually like I admire them so much, and I think that whatever I do is because they exist, you know? But speaking in general about bodies, I think they can do what they do, like more in a sexy and vulgar way, because they're absolutely hegemonic. If they were not as pretty as they were, it would have seemed like a little bit more vulgar, like maybe it wouldn't be that accepted. And I think that's a topic in dance in general that has been going on a lot. I mean, in Argentina, well, in university where I was, in my orientation, like body expression and etc., no, bodies were very diverse. Actually, bodies were normal. Like, not excessively slim or looking to be in a certain way. Like, they were like average human body, diverse ages, diverse body types, etc. But if you would go to the other orientations, like classic dance or theater dance or whatever, theatrical dance, yes, they were going more to the hegemonic side. But in pole dance, I have seen more diversity in Argentina. Also, in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, in 2018, we had a big, big, big feminism wave and body positive wave
Mhm.
and a lot of social isms, not socialism, social isms, like any ISMS waves that changed a lot the way we perceive bodies. And even though I think that worldwide we are in a more right-handed tendency right now worldwide, in Argentina we're still very marked by that. Body acceptance is a thing, and of course, in my class, I wouldn't accept any type of discrimination. But also, I think that in any classes in the field, in pole dancing and in frame up dancing in Argentina, there's not only discrimination, but like there are no discourses that promote any type of body. Like we are who we are, and everyone is accepted, not only accepted, encouraged, to be their own selves.
Mm. Yeah, and I think again, this is where we should all strive from. I live in Denmark, and in Denmark, it's very like bodies are bodies. Everything is fine. I mean, the sexual education is on a very high level and everything. So for me, also, I come from Eastern Europe originally. It's a huge difference in how people perceive bodies here versus there. And yeah, I'm aware that also in Argentina there is a lot of pushes for feminism. There's a lot of issues with the women's rights and everything. So this is also always very important to mention as well. Right. Just to get a little bit back on the topic. So maybe you answered this one now when I ask you who's your frame up dance icon and inspiration. Is that Roses then?
Dasha Popova. Dasha Popova. She's so fucking
Ah,
great. And she does everything. And her group is amazing. I've seen like, I just, I love Dasha Popova. Um, like her solos, her group performances, everything. Everything. Uh, I don't only stalk her on Instagram. I also go to all her platforms, YouTube. Even like she was participating on a TV show with her with Naked. I also go to the TV show platforms. Yeah, yeah. I'm in. Also from other countries, I like a lot. What's going on in Prague and in the UK too. I really like Fox Makarova. Um, I think Nasty Hinak is amazing. I admire her so much. Like her body
they're
capacities
both
are like
amazing.
mesmerizing. There's this other girl in the UK, which name I don't remember. But the other day she uploaded a choreography that I really liked a lot. Um, but yeah, like my top one, top two, my top one and top two are both Dasha. Um, I like Mari Smirnova a lot too. Both of them. Yeah, they are my inspiration.
Well, you admitted to stalking in all the social media you can find. All right. My next one is describe frame up in one word.
I would say static because
Mm,
even if the purpose is to not be aesthetic in some compositions, it's still a aesthetic line. And I don't mean aesthetic like in a beauty aesthetic. I mean aesthetic like in a tendency aesthetic. I have different aesthetic tendencies in art. And
mm.
I know you said only one word. And complexity, but not in a bad way of complexity, in a good way of complexity.
Mm. Mm. Oh, those are all good. Those are all good. Um, I guess I can ask you what is like what's a fun fact about you that people don't know?
I'm a little bit crazy, but I think people already know that. crazy, crazy in a way. Like I am just too extroverted. Actually,
In a
like
good way.
emotionally and mentally, I'm very stable. I mean, I work a lot for that. I always have my shit together, even when I don't. And like, it's very hard to find me angry or whatever. Like, I don't do that. But I'm crazy in a very extroverted way. I'm just too extroverted. Sometimes it's a little bit scary.
I remember your photo shoot in Prague in high heels everywhere. That was quite impressive. Did you
What?
get any comments when you were shooting that one? Did you get any comments when you were
A
shooting that
lot.
photo shoot in Prague?
A lot. Also, in Prague, most of the people are tourists. I mean, not most of the people. I mean, a lot of people live there. But Prague is a very touristic city, so everyone is already in the ooh wow ooh vibe because that's what's going on. They're touristing around, and suddenly they see that on the streets, and they're like a lot of old ladies, like oh, look at her heels. Yeah,
It's good. It's good. It was positive.
yeah, like 70 years old, 80-year-old ladies, like literally over the clouds with the heels. Yeah.
I don't know, because they are very cool shoes, of course.
Yeah.
Um, I'm coming towards the end, and I wanted to. I always ask people at the end, do you have any messages for people who are listening?
Yes. But that's just what it's not related to frame up. It's just like what is on my mind usually. Respect sex workers. It's completely unrelated to anything we spoke about. But yeah, respect sex workers. That's it.
Thank you so much for coming here, for sharing your stories with me, for working in making Argentina also get on the frame up map. And yeah, I hope you get to organize that next event soon. And thank you again for today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much to you, Mora, for making this space, this with so much dance and body. It's important to have also words and mind on the topic. And thank you for organizing this.